Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make Ruffnut, and we're going to be doing her on a single loom, and there's going to be quite a few colours actually. You're going to need dark grey, a silver, I'm using a bronzy colour, I'm using skin tone and black, I'm using the light coffee colour for her hair, 7mm by 4mm bands for her beads for her eyes. I'm using a grey that I got from Target of all places for her tunic. Brown, dark brown, you can use the Rainbow Loom dark brown for her belt and for the end of her tunic. Again the dark grey for her leggings and black for her boots. So she's a bit of a Ruffnut. Let's start by making her hair, and what we're going to use, I'm using it's actually loom bands, and they do a light coffee, so I'm going to be using them. I have my single loom in a standard configuration. All columns are the same height for doing these, and I'm just going to be taking double bands. The arrow, or the open part of the bag, is facing towards me. I'm going to be using double bands, and I'm just going to place these on my loom. Now you can do this on the loom or on your hook, but I'm going to be doing this on the loom. Now we're coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do our number 8 right here. We are then going to do black. Now for the black, I'm just using a single band, but I'm going to twist it, figure 8, loop it on itself, and pop on the peg like that. And I'm going to do another one. And then I'm going to do 2 of the coffee to the bottom, like that. Okay. Now, one of the things that you can do as well is she sort of has these bobbles at the top of her hair, either side of where these black bands are going to be. So I'm just going to be doing a bobble like that, and obviously I'm going to have to undo this to loop it up, but I just want to show you what I'm going to be doing. A pair of bands that I hook one side on and hook the other side on like that, and I'm just going, as I loop up, I'm going to be having those there. Let's have an end cap here. I'm going to use an end cap of the coffee colour as well, like that. Let's copy this on the next column. Single black, loop it around itself, and do another one. And a pair, and a pair, and the end cap single band wrapped twice, popped on the end like that. Now she also has these tight little braids that come out the side of her head by her helmet. So to do those, I'm going to take a single coffee, loop it on itself like that. I'm going to do 4 of those. Now a lot of this is going to sit on a holding hook until we're ready to actually use it. So that's 4 looped on itself, take a single, do your end cap, okay, and pop on the end. That's 1. Let's do the other side. A single, loop it on itself, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and an end cap once and twice. Slide that on. Okay, so let's loop these little ones up first. Dig down past the end cap and grab that double loop band, and we're going to loop these up. And the other one. Okay, we're going to put these on a holding hook, so I'm just using a spare hook to pop those on. Stretch this out a bit. As you can see, that end cap is not looking very even, so stretch that out. There we go, that's a little better. That's better. Let's take the other one off as well. And again, it's not looking even, so I'm going to pop my hook through the end cap and just stretch it so that they become even. Alright, and it doesn't matter, it's hair. Hair is not always even, is it? Depending on the hairdresser you go to. Alright, so we'll pop those on our hook so that we can use those. Now, let's loop up this long braid of hers. Dig down past the end cap and get the 2 bottom bands and loop up and loop up. Now this is where we're going to do this little bit of fancy footwork, and I'm going to take these bands off here because we will use those. Let's use 3 instead of 2 so it's bulkier. You can use 4, it really doesn't matter. What you're going to do is you want to dig your hook under those 2 bands, grab the 3 bands and pull them under as well. Okay, now we're going to loop one end on and then pop the other end on your hook and loop that on the same peg. Okay, dig down by finding the 2 black bands and loop up. Loop up the 2 black bands. Again, let's do the same. I'm going to use these bands, and again I'm going to do 3, not 2, to make it a bigger bobble. There's the 3 bands. I'm going to go under where I had the black bands, grab those 3, I'm going to attach one end here and then put my hook on the other end of those bands and put them on the same peg like that, and then dig down and loop up. So here's our first one. Let's put that on our holding hook. Gently take that off. And as you can see, it's stretch that out. It's kind of given us that knotted bobble look here. You see how it's. Now if you need it bigger, you use more bands. It's completely up to you. But that's how I'm doing it for the bobbles in her hair. Let's do the other side. Dig down past the end cap, grab the 2, loop up and loop up. Now we need to do the bobble. So 3 bands, go under, grab the bands, all 3 of them. There we go. I'm going to attach one side there, grab the other side on your hook, and pop them on as well. There we go. Dig down and find the 2 black bands, loop up, get another 3, drag over, pop on, reclaim the end and pop on. Now we just loop up our coffee coloured bands. Okay, let's take these off onto our holding hook. Stretch them out, sort it out. Here we go. Okay, so there's our 2 strands of hair that are going to go on her head. Now, let's turn our loom into the offset configuration. So you're going to take this middle column and raise it up a little bit so that columns 1 and 3 are lower than column 2. Okay, we're doing her head. We're going to start, I'm using these thicker silver bands, they're rounded. I think they're actually a DIY brand, but they're quite good for this sort of thing. So I'm just going to pop these at the top here. I'm double banding, so I have 2 bands going on the peg together at the same time. And I should mention that the loom, the open part of the peg is facing towards me again. So we're going to put these here as the top of her helmet. Okay, and I'm also going to take another 1, twist it around my hook like that and pop it on the top here. Make sure you have everything pushed down. Okay, so from here we're going to start by doing her hair and her skin. So I'm using skin tone. Now, as you can see here, we've got a long face here. So I've got the back of her head is done in the yellow as well. So we'll do the back of her head first. Okay, and she does have a long face. So we are going to be using an extension for that. Two here and 2 here. Put a skin tone here on the end of that end cap. Whoopsie. Single skin tone, wrap it once and twice around your hook, pop it on top here. Now we're going to take a single and stretch it across, and a single and stretch it across like that. Let's loop up the back of her head. So dig down past the end cap, grab the 2 yellow bands and loop up. And then the 2 top yellow bands, loop to the side, 2 top yellow bands, loop to the side, middle, and then just the one side and the other side. So you're only doing the yellow part of the hair for this. Okay, the rest, these silver bands, you leave as they are. Okay, skin tone bands for her face. 2 go from these 2 pegs. You're not going to put the skin tone where the helmet is because there's a helmet there. 2 skin tone from the center to the right. Push your bands down, it gets a bit crowded. Center to the left. A single one across here as a crossover band. Okay, then we're going to take a single and twist it once, twice, 3 times and place here for the eyes. I'm going to use 2 for the neck, like that, and we're going to use the beads for her eyes. Now I'm using 7mm by 4mm beads. If you don't have beads, use bands. The equivalent of 1 bead eye is a single band that you wrap around your hook 4 times. So that's once, twice, 3 times and 4 times. That's the same as 1 bead. Okay, so if you don't have beads, take a single band and wrap it around your hook 4 times. Do the same with another one, and then you slide them onto your skin tone band as if they were beads. Stretch across these 2 pegs and make sure that you have 1 bead this side and 1 bead this side. Take the top part of the band and lift it over this part here, peg, and that acts as a crossover. Now it's really important, have a look here, you've got these 2 bands for the neck, and then under here you have the end cap. Put your hook under the end cap and pull it up and over the neck bands, and then push the neck bands back. That locks, that traps the back of the head into her face. Okay, now as I said, she's got a long jaw, so we have to do an extension for her jaw. So come down to the bottom of your loom here, and what we're going to do is taking 2 bands, so a double banding still. Let's place some bands on the bottom of our loom here. So put these 2 here. Now we're going to stretch these 2 to here and these 2 to here. Move them down. We're going to take a single band, stretch it into a figure 8, loop it on itself, and that is going to go in an upside down triangle over those pegs. Alright, and we're going to put an end cap here, single, wrap it once, twice and 3 times. Okay, so we do an extra one because we want it to be tight. Okay, and that will pop on the end here. What we're going to do is dig down past that end cap, so make sure you're past the end cap and grab the 2 top bands and loop to the corresponding side. Do the same for the other side. Oops, I didn't do that very well, did I? Oi, come here. Come here. There we go. Pull that through and up to there. Grab these bottom 2. They loop to here, and then pull this back. Use the back of your hook to push that crossover band back. 1 side, 2, and 3. Now we need to take this off and put on up the top here. So I'm going to take each part off and hold on to my hook like that. Okay, I'm not actually ready to have these on here just yet. I probably want to do that when I'm looping up, because when I get to the face I want to do that. I can add them. I'm going to put these first 4 loops on this peg, but I'll need to take this off again when I come to loop it up, but we'll keep it here for the moment just so we know what we're doing. Okay, so that's going to go like that. As you can see, it's a bit lopsided at the minute, so that will go like that, but we need to do some fancy footwork under here before we loop it. Let's do her her tunic and arms. Okay, so I'm using grey. These are the grey that I found from Target. They're a crazy loom grey, and they're actually quite nice. So I'm going to go from the side here to the shoulder, and the side to the shoulder. Then I'm going down the chest, and I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 2, let's get that broken one out of the way, 3 and 4, and then on the sides 1, 2, 3, how many did I do? Let me check. 1, 2, 3, I did 4. Make sure I'm not fibbing to you. 4, 1, 2, 3, oops, wrong peg, 4. Now she wears a sort of darkish brown skirt, so I'm using Rainbow Loom, I think it's Cocoa actually, and I'm going to do 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Her leggings are a dark grey. Now, as you can see, we're not anywhere near putting her boots on yet because we haven't finished doing her legs. So they will sort of be extensions on the bottom here, because I've actually got 1, 2, 3 pair for her legs, and that's okay. Skirt. Now you can either, I would say, do it down to here. Okay, it's going to look a little bit odd because it's coming down, but I think it's better to do it this way than have it come down even further. So we'll put those 2 like that, and then you need to have an end cap here, so single band, wrap it once and twice, and pop that here. We need some crossover bands. Now she's a skinny mini, so I'm going to take a single and loop it on itself, and we'll do that all the way up. I'm using brown for the crossover bands for this because it's the predominant colour, and then as we get up here I'm going to just use grey. Now I'm doing this one first, the reason being I need to put brown for the belt. I'm going to take 2, doing it on my hook so I don't overstretch them, do a figure 8, okay, and I'm going to pop that here, 2, do a figure 8, and pop here, and then we'll have to put our crossover band over after we've looped those up. 2 and pop here. Okay, for her arms, let's get these out the way. For her arms we're going to do skin tone. Take a single, wrap it once and twice, slide onto a pair, and I'm now going to do 2 pair of black, so 1, these are her braces, and 2, and then I'm going to do 3 pair of skin tone. I'm sorry, 2 pair of skin tone. We want 5. 1. Oh, I'm really telling you fibs. She has very long arms, and if you have a look at them, they go longer than her hair. So on my prototype here, I did not have them longer than her hair, and I think they need to be. They need to be sort of dangling down the front here. So I'm going to make them extra long. So we have, that's 5, and let's make them extra long. 6 and 7. Let's see how long that will be if I did that like that. Might actually do one more. Let's do 8. She's going to have really long arms. So we're going to do 8. Pop that on her shoulder. Now, when I say braces, they're sort of like, I don't know what you would call them really. It's like a glove almost, isn't it? Slide on. We do 2 pair. 1 and 2. So that's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. And let's pop that on here. So we have arms, body, crossover bands. We need feet. Okay, so we're going to be doing black boots. I'm going to take 4 bands. I'm going to wrap my hook around once. I'm going to take 4 bands and I'm going to slide them on. Reclaim the end. Take 4 bands. Wrap around once. And you're going to take those first 4 bands, if you can, and slide those other ones under. That's going to be tricky. You know what? Hang on a second. Take those 4, take these first ones off. They're safe there. Get your other 4, wrap, and now reclaim these. There we go, that was easier. Twiddle those around. Now, slide onto, this is going to be fun, 4. And I think you just do it any way you can. Like that. Reclaim the end of your boot. So as you can see, it's quite thick and chunky. Okay. Now, the other thing is, as I mentioned, we've got an extra pair of grey here. So let's take the extra dark grey, 2 bands, and slide on like that. Reclaim the end of our bands and we'll pop that onto this foot, or this leg. I should mention leg, not foot. Okay, let's do the same again. 4 bands, wrap once, slide onto 4 bands. It's always nice when they decide to mow right outside my window. Okay, don't reclaim just yet. Take another 4 bands, put on your hook, twist once, now reclaim. Have I got all of them? No, I left one behind. There we go. 4 bands, and we're going to slide all of this on. Lift it up and move it across onto those bands like that. Reclaim the end of your bands. Okay, and now take a pair of dark grey and slide on. You can see I've lost one here. Come on, you. And slide the other ones on. Reclaim the end of your grey bands and angle your foot whichever way you want it to go, and we'll pop that on the end of this leg here. There we are. Now, for her hair, we have actually added stuff already where we probably need to lift things off. okay? But what we're going to do is with this part of her hair here, I want it to be added here, alright? So what I'm going to do, take this off, I'm going to unravel 1 and 2. I'm going to take 2 of those bands and I'm going to be going under here when I'm ready. I'm not ready yet, okay? Now let's take these 1 and 2. These little ones go at the side here and they go under some big horns. Now we haven't made the big horns yet, so lift this up and we're just going to move that over and replace like that. They kind of just sit here. Alright, so let's put these on either side and replace. Now we have some big horns that need to go on here as well. The big horns we're going to do in grey, and I will count how many we need. We need a single 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we're going to do it on the hook. Make an end cap, wrap it once and twice and 3 times. You're then going to take a single, stretch it, figure 8, pop your hook on, okay, and you're going to lift that over like that and reclaim. That's tight, okay. Let's do the same again. Single, figure 8, and we're going to loop that on like that. So those are 2 tight ones. Now we're going to go onto a pair and lift them over. So that's pair number 3. Well, it's number 3 because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, lift this up and we will slide that on there as well and replace the bands on that peg. Alright, so you actually have 2 things on here. Let's do the same again. Single, wrap it once, twice, 3 times. A single, figure 8, loop it on itself so it's tight and slide the end cap on and reclaim. Do that again. Single, figure 8 so it's tight and slide those on. Now we're in pairs. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's going to go on here. Lift those 2 up, slide on and replace. Now she also has little horns at the top here. They're not as big, okay. I've done them here in a bronzy colour, and there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So with my bronzy colour I'm going to do an end cap again. It's going to be a tight one, so 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to figure 8 and I'm going to do this 4 times. So there's number 1, loop it on itself, 2, 3, 3, stretch them so they're even, and 4. Let's do the other one. Let's just move that down. End cap, so 1, 2 and 3. Our first one, slide the end cap over and reclaim. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so those are going to be the 2 little horns that go at the top of her helmet. Alright, so what we're going to do for that, let's undo that one, and we're going to take this one down and this one down. Take this one off and slide the little horn on and replace. Take this one off, slide the little horn on and replace, and then get your 2 here and put those back. Okay, and then we're going to take these, put that one back as well, just like that. Alright, I think we're ready to start looping up. I'm going to take her chin off and keep it on a holding hook. Okay, put my hook down here and lift that off, and then put my hook down here and lift off. Okay, so I have her chin on my holding hook, and you could have kept it on the holding hook the whole time. That's absolutely fine. Make sure those bands aren't twisted on each other. There we go. Alright, now we've got her hair here because we're doing some fancy footwork with her hair in a minute. She's waving to us. Dig down, you're going to find those 2 grey bands and loop up. 2 grey bands and loop up. Loop the leggings in first, push things down so that you've got room. You can dig down past that end cap, grab the 2 top brown bands and loop down, and the same this side. Loop down, loop this one up, dig down and loop up. You're just finding the 2 bottom bands at this stage. Loop up and loop up. I'm going to push things down so that I've got a bit of room here. I'm now on the grey bands, so I have to loop up and up and up. Now we're getting to where we're going to loop her belt down. So loop these ones up, and then we loop these ones up. Now turn your loom over, you can see you've got these 2 and these 2. Dig your hook up through both of them like that. Grab the brown bands, only the brown bands. Pull your hook round to the top of the peg and pull down. Okay, and that's how we pull the belt down. Let's do the same for the other side. Through the 2 bands, grab the brown bands only and pull forward like that. Okay, so that's how we do the belt. Now we need to do this top one here. This is the trickiest one to do. Grab the brown bands and pull forward. I twist it around a few times just to sort of even the belt out. Now, if you remember, we need to have a crossover band here, and we've double banded these. Well, not double banded, we've looped them. So let's take our band and loop it. Okay, we're going to lift these 2 top loops and place our crossover band there and put them back. Now I've still got the crossover band on my finger. I've just transferred it now. Lift the 2 top grey bands and put the crossover band there and replace, and then lift the 2 top grey bands if you can. There we go. Pull them out to the side. I think I've got a wrong one there. Let's try that again. There we go, that's better. Now to get this, you're going to go under where you've already looped that. Grab that crossover band and drag it across, and it's tight because it's looped on itself, but there you go. So you've added that in. Okay, let's loop up to the arms on either side. One, got a single band there, let's find the other one. One and two. I'm going to come up the middle here, dig down, find those two grey bands and loop. Find the two grey bands and loop. I can see that's twisted and I don't want it twisted terribly. Okay, now I'm going to dig down here and find the two skin tone bands and loop up. This is where we have our fancy footwork, because the order in which we place our chin is very important. Okay, so I've looped up to the top. I'm now going to dig down and find the two to loop to one side and the two to loop to the other side. There's one, let me find the other one. Okay, so we've looped these ones in first. Now this is where we're going to place our chin. The first 4 loops go here. If you can get your hook off. Okay, push things down. There's going to be a lot of bands on here. The next 4 go on the center, and the other 4 go over here on the side. I'm going to move my hook through here and wiggle my chin around a bit. There we go. I'm going to dig down. Now I've placed that, I'm going to dig down and find those 2 skin tone bands to loop up the center. Okay, now before I loop these sides of the chin in, what I want to do is add my hair. So I'm going to dig down here, find the skin tone and loop up. Do the same here, we're locking these in, find the skin tone and loop up. We're not looping up the hair bit yet. Okay, I'm going to dig down here, grab 2 of the hair coloured bands, pull them through to the side like we did for the skirt on fawn. Okay, dig them to the side here, take the other 2, actually I'm telling you fibs, take them to the side, take these loops here. Here we go. Now we need these to be in between. So I actually didn't need them on my hook. Put 2, grab those 2 and those like that. Okay, then grab the next pair and drag those through all of those bands if you can. See if I can do it. You might have to do it one by one. Okay, that's fine too. So grab those all like that. Okay, and then we're going to put this on that peg there, and it just means that her hair is sort of on the side here. Let's see if we can do that on the other side as well. So the first 2, okay, you're going to push your hook down past all those bands out the side here. Make sure you don't lose those bands from that peg. Put 2 on your hook. I've got my thumb here to stop the bands from falling off. Flick it over the other side of the office. Grab some cat hair in the process. Okay, down past all of those bands. Grab the 2 bands and you're pulling them back through to the side. Okay, stretch them out so that they're equal in length. Take your hook out. Remember, we want to put this in the middle. So grab 2, then the bands of the braid. 1, 2, where's the other 2? Here they are. and then the 2 from the other side, and then we're going to take the last 2 bands that we have and drag these all across like so, reclaim the end, and they go on the peg by the eyes like that. Sorry, her horns are a bit wiggledy woggledy. Alright, so we've looped that up. Let's loop this centre up to here. Now we're digging down and finding the 2, and the silver bands is what we need. So the 2 silver bands, and loop up, and you do want them to be on the outside like that. I can see that little band is stuck inside the silver. There we go, that looks a bit better. And again, you can pretty this up after the fact. Now what we're going to do here is dig down, and I'm telling fibs, 1 second, before we loop these ones in, let's do our little bit here. Loop this center one up. I'm going to pull this, the capped band here that we have. I'm going to put my finger on top so I don't lose these bands. I need to grab those silver bands, okay? So I need to hit my camera. I need to go under the silver bands at the bottom and grab the 2 loops and pull forward. If you can only do 1 at a time, that's okay. But I'm pulling them forward like that, okay? Then I'm going to grab these 2 bottom silver ones and loop up, and the next 2 silver ones and loop up. I'm actually going to tie off with dark grey. I think these silver bands slip and I don't want it to slip, so I'm going to use the dark grey to tie off. Grab your hook, push it all the way through all of those bands out the side, grab, drag back up to the top part of this, and you're going to take it over and off and pull tight into a slip knot. Okay, let's take it off the loom. Let's cross our fingers and take it off the loom. Now I'm not just ripping her off because I have these bands looped on themselves, they're tight, and if I just rip them off... Well, I'm sorry about that, my phone ran out of memory and didn't actually ding, bing or burr at me, so I didn't know it had stopped recording. Anyway, here she is off the loom. We have a few things that we're going to do. We are going to put a single band, slide it through her arm up here, and wrap it once up the top like that. Okay, so she's got sort of like a little armband up there, and the other thing that we're going to do, we need to make the ruffle around her boots, but we also need to do her little jacket. Okay, so and these should be on the side a bit more, not sticking up like cow horns. There we go. So for her jacket, our loom is going to be in standard configuration. All columns are the same height. I'm using the same brown that I used for her tunic because I don't have another kind of tan colour that would not be too similar to what she's got as her hair. Take 2 and place them on these this peg here, doing nothing for the minute. There are lead bands. we're double banding, so we take 2 and take 2. Now she has a short little jacket, so I'm not going to be making it very long at all, which will make it short, won't it? Alright, I'm just going to go down 3 so that it's real short. It's like a bolero jacket. Down here. And again, we're going to put 2 as our lead bands here, but we're going to put 2 from the center to the right and 2 from the left to the center, and then we're going to stretch a single band across these pegs here. Let's put an end cap on this one here, single band, wrap it once and twice and slip that on. Now let's really slip that on. The first ones we're going to loop up are these ones on the bottom, and we're going to loop them to the right. Okay, so loop to the right, and then do the same again. There's 2 bands and you're looping to the right. Dig down and we loop up. Loop that first column and then we loop the second. We're not looping the third just yet. Once you get to here, dig down and loop that across. I'm going to take this first column off our loom like that, and then using your base removal tool, which is on the back side of your Rainbow Loom hook, you're going to move your bases. We're just using the mini bases, move them forward on either side. Leave the big base plate where it is, and then you can take this column off and move it forward. This is the move it forward technique that I created to do larger loom work on a small loom. No, we don't need to put those 2 there yet. 2 lead bands here. Grab the 2 that we had. We're going to lay our bands. 1, 2 and 3. Put your lead bands on there and then drag these ones over. Drag your crossover bands over, and now we loop this one to the right and loop the middle column up. Dig down and loop across. We can take this second column off, push things down. This time we're moving the big base plate. Now we're not going to need lead bands for this, because this is going to be our last column that we're doing. So lay our bands. As I said, we don't need to lead. Drag those across. Drag the crossovers over, grab those 2, loop to the right, and then we loop these 2 columns up. You can do them at the same time, that's fine. One and 2. Take 2 bands to tie off with. Dig your hook down, out through the side, pop those 2 bands on your hook and drag them back up through. Reclaim the end of your bands, take one over the other and, whoopsie, pull tight. We can take this off the loom. Stretch it out. You've just kind of made a little square. Okay. Dig your hook through the inside here. Grab those 2 tie-off bands and drag back through and stretch out. You're basically just trying to hide these tie-off bands inside our creation. You don't want them sticking out the end there like that. Come back here. So you want them inside the creation, not on the outside. Well, it really doesn't matter terribly much. It's not like anybody's going to see. Come on, get back here. Alright. And under that band as well. There we go. So this is going to be her jacket. I know it looks very small, doesn't it? What we're going to do, we're going to have 3 at the back and then 1 at the front. So here I'm going to get her arm and slide it through. Let's mind her little strap that we have on her arm. There's 1, and then you've got 3 columns at the back. Here's the other one. Grab her arm and pull it through. Now she does sort of have a hunched over look about her, and that sort of has been captured. Like this. Now to do the ruffle around her boot, let's grab some bands. Take a single, wrap it once and twice. Now you're going to take a single and loop it on itself. Let's do that one more time to make it tighter. Slide that end cap onto the single and reclaim. We're going to do this a few times. So loop it on itself and pull through. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oops, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see how close we are to having it entirely around her foot. I think we're good. 10 is what we need. So I'm going to start at the back here. Okay. Grab one that I've twisted on my fingers like that. I'm going to go through some of these bands at the back of her foot here, the grey ones. Grab that one end. Okay, so I've got one end on, and I'm going to slide these on like that and reclaim the end of my band. Alright, I'm going to take it over and off, wrap this around, go through the end cap. Now actually I should have probably, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll go through the end cap like that. Take another figure 8 on your fingers, and we're going to slide this through all of those like that, and then tie off like this. Splay this out, it's tight, put it over her foot like that. Okay, so that's going to be the ruffle for her foot. Let's do the other one. 1, 2, 3. We need 10 of these. So here's number 1. Oopsie, come back here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, go to the back of her foot and push your hook through the grey bands. Take a single black band, figure 8, drag it through and slide. Oops, let go of one side there, that wasn't intelligent. Slide your little loop on that you've made. Okay, slide one through the other. Splay this open so you can slip that through. There we go. So that's secured that. Now I'm going to twist it around her leg like this. You got the other. Get the loop that you were just using then. Push through the end cap. Take another single black. Slide it through all of that. Reclaim one over the other into a slip knot, splay it open if you can, and pop it over her foot like so. So there you have the ruffles for her boots. We've got her belt, we've got her hair. If you desperately want to do a mouth, I do have a tutorial on how you can do a mouth. It's in my tips and tricks. I would definitely recommend just snipping a single band and going through one side of her chin at the back here. As I said, I don't put mouths on my figures. Drag one side through, hold on to the other end, and you'd basically want to come through the same spot on the other side, like so. Tie it in a knot at the back and angle it down so that you've got a grin happening on her face here. So yeah, if you wanted to do a smile, you would use a single black band like that. As I said, I don't do it. Up to you. Anyway, there she is. There's Ruffnut, and her brother, her twin brother, is going to be very similar. Change up of colours. Yeah, I'll be doing that tutorial next. Hope you enjoy making her. Take care.